Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and today we're starting our Mystic-only run of Return to the Dunwich Legacy. I've already talked more about the Dunwich Legacy and the characters I'm playing in another video, but to quickly go over their decks, I'm going to be playing this Marie Lambough deck that uses her book to investigate and her head to actually fight using the arcane assets. I'm also going to be running this Jacqueline Fine deck. Pretty much any Mystic can run almost exactly this deck and be fine, and despite the fact that it's very cookie cutter and not nearly as interesting as the Marie deck, it is almost certainly much more powerful. If you want to hear more about how I plan for the Dunwich Legacy or how I built these decks or what I'm planning on doing with them, I've got a session 0 up already. But that's enough of that. Let's get into the campaign. I've already done the setup. I don't read the story text and the rules book in these videos. It just adds too much, and I feel like most people watching these videos already know about it. But I will be reading all the flavor text in the scenario, which as you can see, I've already done all the setup for. As you can see, we chose to start with extracurricular activities instead of House Always Wins. And the reason for that is strictly because the Night is Still Young version of Faculty Office has one victory. The other side doesn't. That's the only reason I made this decision. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the agendas, the acts, and see what our mulligans are. Agenda 1A, Quiet Halls. You have arrived at Miskatonic University campus and search for Professor Warren Rice. Classes are over and a mysterious silence hangs in the air over the quad. In Act 1A, After Hours, Professor Rice was last seen several hours ago by one of Armitage's students in the Humanities building. Oh, and something worth mentioning now, since I'm doing the Return to set for the first time, any time that the Return to set tells me to randomly pick between old locations and new ones, I always pick the new ones just to see what's being offered instead. But there are no lingering rules in this scenario that we need to worry about. We're going to start at the Miskatonic Quad. It is a 3-shroud, no clue location, and we can just resign, which we won't be doing. So let's add our draw buttons and get into it, see what we have to play with. Well, that seems really good. How much Doom was the threshold? That matters for David. A decent bit. I was wondering what allies to keep in this hand, but then I realized I don't have Charisma yet, which makes the decision a lot easier. I can just get rid of David by playing a new ally over him. We're going to have 1 Doom going up to 2 from David, 2 Doom going up to 4 from David, 3 Doom going up from 6 to David. And sadly, that means David's only giving us a net gain of 4 resources right now. I think I actually don't use David, and I toss Jeremiah and David, and I keep Milan and St. Hubert's Key. And Ward of Protection early is a bit too much. I'm not confident in this mulligan at all, but that's what I'm doing. All right, cool. We have Arcane Initiates. Those are not super helpful at the moment. Over on Jacqueline's side, we're going to deal 5 cards to the wrong character. Aside from the Algebra Flame, I think this hand is pretty much perfect. Also should take 2 horror on both of these guys because of my Arcane Researchers. But yeah, aside from the Algebra Flame, which is redundant, I don't see anything in this hand that's bad. Different redundancy. It'll be fine. And that's it. Let's get into the game. So full disclosure, I remember almost nothing about Dunwich aside from what I was talking about in session 0. It was the first campaign I played after the core campaign, and I have not touched it since. Which might tip you off to the fact that I wasn't the biggest fan of Dunwich our first time through. So I think I'm going to go first on Jacqueline, because what Shroud locations I see will affect whether or not I want to play Milan first. I'm going to move her left to the Warren Observatory. It's a 4-shroud, 2-clue location with Victory 1, and after you discover clues here, you discard 3 cards on the top of your deck for each clue discovered. So it's going to discard 6 no matter what we do to get rid of them. I think since it's impossible for Marie to fight right now, what I want to do is play a Holy Rosary for 2, and then uncage the soul as my last action to play a Shriveling for free. That way Jacqueline's set up to fight. Unfortunately, though, since Marie's at 4 book 5 with Milan, she's not really ready to fight either, or ready to find clues at a 4-shroud location. So I'm going to move down with her to this adjacent location, the Humanities building, which is 3 shroud, 2 clues, or 4 clues rather. At the end of your turn, if you are here, discard the top X card in the deck, where X is the amount of horror on you, and I have 2 base. I'm not thrilled to see that, but it is what it is. I'm going to play Milan for most of my money, and then I'm going to investigate at 5 to 2. Is it 5 to 2 or 5 to 3? 5 to 3. -1, -3 instead if I have a big discard pile, but I don't, so I will take my 1 money from Milan and 1 of the clues. That's it for our first turn. Because I ended my turn here, I have to discard the top 2 cards of my deck, which is Baron Samity and David Renfield. That's fine by me. I don't need David. I have Milan in play. And Bear Insanity is, like, let's be real. Bear Insanity is a terrifying weakness. If I landed my turn anywhere else, he would have killed Milan. And then I would have to deal with getting him out of play. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. Thanks, game. Upkeep phase. Delve too deep. We need it eventually. May as well have it now. And Ward of Protection. 1 of 7 Doom and Evil cards. I can either draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck or place 1 Doom on the current agenda. I'm of the opinion that Overzealous is probably less bad than Ancient Evils. Let's see how wrong I am. I've got a security guard. And I've got a secret door. So now my location has the secret door on it. And I cannot leave the location anymore. I can test 3 brain or 3 books to find a way out to get rid of it. Likewise, I have Enthralled Security Guard, who is a 2/3 Hunter Retaliates. After he attacks me, I'm going to discard the top 2 cards of my deck. But if I evade him, he just dies. Not that anyone in my team can evade for shit, but hey, it's an option. And the evil card for Jacqueline. Oh. Well, I guess she's not helping Marie at all. That's unfortunate. So this seems like substantially more enemy than I was expecting during turn 1. I guess I'm going to go first with Jacqueline, because her turn informs what we're doing to some degree. Because what Jacqueline's doing, she's just shriveling at 6/3 twice. And I think I don't want to use her ability, because if I just get something better than -4 twice in a row, I can move down and save her ability for Marie. So that's what I'm going to try to do. +1 is 2 damage. Cultist is -1, but I will take 1 horror for getting the cultist, and this guy is dead. Thank you, Shriveling. Let's not forget to spend our charges from it. Now, does Secret Passage lock me out, or can I get in? Yeah, I can get in, I just can't get out. So I'll spend my last action moving down to Marie's location. Marie does have 3 foot. So I think what I do is I just try to evade 3 times. I'll use Jacqueline's ability on the first one. I'll put a little copy of this thing on Jacqueline to denote her ability. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to evade as my first action at 3 to 4, but I'm pulling 3 tokens. -1's a miss. Star's probably a pass. And I didn't hit auto fail. What does Star do? +1, you may add or remove 1 Doom from a card you control. +1 is good enough to evade him, and he does have Force. After he's evaded, it is defeated. Get him out. Okay, crisis managed. So now's a good time to delve too deep, right? Right? No? Okay, I'm going to... Oh, right, Jacqueline needs to discard the top 3 cards of her deck. Clairvoyance, Promise of Power, and Raptured, because she ended her turn here. Next, I am going to investigate at 5 to 3 again. Skull, -1, I pass. I get the clue and a resource from Milan. The resource being the important part, because I spend all of this to play St. Hubert's game. And this gives me a much higher chance of passing the secret door check next turn to get us out of here. Unfortunately, it does mean I'm discarding 2 more cards, which are Ward of Protection and Fearless. That's the end of our turn, so upkeep phase. Another Ward of Protection on Jacqueline, and another Delve Too Deep on Marie. Okay. Top of the round, 2 of 7 Doom, and encounter cards. Whoops. I'll just give this other one to Jacqueline. Oh, alright. That's a lot of victory enemies in the first couple of turns. So he's just a 4/3 enemy that hits for 1/2, and he has the Force text that if you draw a Hex or Pact card, he attacks that Investigator. And also the other room is also locked now. So I think I'm just going to shrivel over twice. That seems so unreliable. So what I'm going to do with Jacqueline is shrivel over twice. Because of the secret door and this enemy, Jacqueline has to stay behind, I think, and has to discard more cards. Which I guess I can live with. But since he has to stay behind anyway, I'll spend an action to draw, or to engage rather, to make sure that he doesn't, or that I don't rather, miss and he'll end up killing Marie. And then I'm going to shoot with Shriveling twice. They're both at 6 to 3, or 6 to 4 rather. And on this first one, I'm going to use my ability. -4, glad I did. Cultist would be a pass, a 0 would be a pass, and I'll take the 0 to not take the horror, so he takes 2 damage. The second attack, -1, get him out of here. I end my turn here now, so I take the top 3 off my deck. Fearless, my unique asset, which is amazing. That's where it blows. I guess it balances out with Bear Insanity, right? For Marie, I think I'm investigating twice at 6 to 3 to get these clues, and then getting rid of the secret door. I'm investigating once, that's for sure. Skull, only a -1. I get a resource from Milan. I get a clue. At this point, I'm going to test that 6 book to 3 on the secret passage. -4. I'm going to do it again. -2. Get it out of here. Since I now have to end my turn here, I am going to discard the top 2, which includes my weakness again. Yeah, there's no text about force drawing your weaknesses. I'm playing it right. And calling in favors is a completely dead card since Milan is already in play and I have no charisma. Cool. Upkeep phase. Another Holy Rosary doesn't do anything, but it does let me soak horror damage. I really should have put that horror on Holy Rosary. What am I doing with my life? Anyway, top of the round. 3 of 7 Doom. Resurgent Evils. I still haven't drawn a Ward of Protection here, and these level 0 ones can't be used on other investigators. We have no ability to fight right now, so I'm actually going to add a Doom. Enemies would be a huge problem. Test by Brain for each point you fail by. Do you have skills? No, of course no one has skills. Well, discarding the top card of my deck isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm at +1. And I pass. Easy. Alright, I'm going to go first with Marine. I'm going to investigate 6 to 3. Get a clue and a resource from Milan. I'm going to leave this location. I am tired of this. And once I'm here, I'm going to immediately test the secret door, because we have to do it eventually. I like the options being open. It's gone too. For Jacqueline, I guess I need to play a new Shriveling, because my old one's out. I'm going to move back to the Miskatonic Quad, because I really just don't want Marie Lambeau to draw an enemy, and if she does, she can just play her Occult Lexicon and kill it. Probably, I hope. Otherwise, I'll waste it in action. 2, actually. But I hope it doesn't come to that. I'm going to discard this Shriveling. Oh wait, Clairvoyance cost 4. Never mind. I guess I'm going to gain a resource then. But that's it for us. No enemies in play. Upkeep phase. We have more delves than we could ever possibly need. Top of the round, 5 of 7 Doom, and evil cards. So this lets me draw 1 card, then discard 2 cards, then test Brain against however many cards are in my hand. I'd rather not take 2 horror, but with all these cards in my hand, I don't really see a way around Eldritch Accord. I'm going to try, though. I'm going to toss both Arcane Initiates. And I guess I can commit Promise of Power to the skill test, right? And that puts me at 9 to 4. I'm almost guaranteed to pass. I don't feel like I need to be that scared of it. Yeah, I can hold Promise of Power. I'm just testing at 5 to 5, probably taking 2 horror. But at least I'll be safer to future cards like this. Yeah, that's 2 horror, nothing to do about it. 1 go Milan. Coming over to Jacqueline's evil card, she's going to get the other Enthralled Security Guard. I say the other, I have no idea if there are 2 or 3 of these dudes. Okay, I'm going to go first on Jacqueline. I'm going to shrivel him at 6 to 2. He takes 2 damage from that. Now I'm going to punch him using Jacqueline's ability at 2 to 2. That's a fail, that's a pass. I get to use my star ability, which does what exactly? I can ignore it and fail the test. No thank you. So I'll take the +1 and kill him. In last action, I'm going to play a Clairvoyance over my old Shriveling, so that I can start finding clues and helping Marie. On Marie's end, I think she's just testing at 6 to 4 and hoping for the best. Let's see if there's anything over -3. We still have 8 in our discard pile, so that first one's a pass. The second one's an auto fail. I'm going to play my Occult Lexicon at this point, instead of getting the last clue. But let's actually get the clue, use Milan, all that stuff. I need Occult Lexicon in play because if I don't do it, she's at much more risk of drawing an enemy and making Jacqueline have terrible turns. Anyway, no enemies are alive, upkeep phase, Fearless is always great to see. And Uncage the Soul would have been great last action. Top of the round, 6 of 7 Doom. How many clues do we need? Only 6. So once we get this next clue, we actually are able to regress if we want to, which I think we should. Vassal of the Lurker. That's a bit more enemy than she's able to manage, actually. And Whippoorwills. So now we also have to deal with the birds. So I think Jacqueline just moves and attacks the Vassal of the Lurker. I don't like it, but I'm going to have Jacqueline move back. Oh, right. I was supposed to do a thing and discard the top 3 cards of Marie's deck. Whoops. Let's do that then. Audra Flame, Ward of Protection, Promise of Power. Cards I would have liked to keep. And now her Cultist token is online. That doesn't affect the Investigate action from earlier because that would have happened after I got the clue. So I would have still been at -1 when it happened, but that is gross. Promise of Power, Word of Protection, Archer Flame are all cards I would very much like to have in my hand instead of this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to be shriveling over. First shrivel, I'm going to be doing at 6 to 3 straight. That's 2 damage, and now I'll use my ability to guarantee the second one. Not that I needed it. I will cancel my Elder Sign and pick the 0, which lets me draw a card. And this kills the Vassal of the Lurker. And that means we've killed 3 victory point enemies in the first, what was it, 4 or 5 turns? In the first 5 turns, we got in all 3 victory point enemies. It's good to see that these guys can actually fight. Anyway, on Marie's turn, I'll be investigating at 6 to 4. -3. -2, I get the clue and I discard the top 3 of my deck. Shriveling, Bloodright, Calling. Oh man, I've discarded so much of Marie's ability to fight already. It's really painful. Also, let's remember to actually use my Shriveling charges. That is kind of important. For the last action, I have Marie just move back to where the Whippoorwills are. Actually, since the Whippoorwills would stay there if I moved, instead I'm just going to draw a card. Which is Shriveling. That's damn nice to say. So, enemy phase, the Whippoorwills fly over and start giving us debuffs, and upkeep. Prescient is nice to see. Deny existence is okay. 7 of 7 Doom, it is time to progress the agenda. The university is dead silent. The shadows coil about your feet as you walk, and you swear there is something following you with each step you take. Is it just your imagination, or is there really someone or something stalking you? Each investigator with 5 or more cards in his discard pile takes 1 horror, so that's both of them. Actually, we're both over 10, I think, so we're both taking 2 horror instead. Nope. Jacqueline's only going to take the 1, but I am going to be taking 2 on Marie, which I will use Deny Existence for, because I don't see myself taking much more than 2 horror in a given hit. And right now I have less horror than health, so easy enough decision. And since we haven't done The House Always Wins, we're playing this one first, we get to play through Agenda 2, The Dead of Night. Professor Rice's disappearance isn't the only thing amiss at the university. You're unsure what is going on, but you're starting to believe Armitage was right in asking for your help. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 3. That doesn't feel the best. Anyway, during our turns, I guess first we should progress the act. It has to be somebody's turn, though, to progress the act, so I'm going to be starting with Marie. You were unable to find Professor Rice, but one of the students you spoke with mentioned a strange man entering Rice's office. Unfortunately, the door leading to the faculty offices is locked at this late hour. The student says that the head janitor, Jazz, might be able to let you in if you can find him. So now I shuffle the discard pile and Jazz Mulligan into the encounter deck. Act 2A, Rice's whereabouts. Concerned for Professor Rice's safety, you seek out the head janitor who can let you into the locked sections of the campus. We gain the ability to spend a clue as an action to discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck, and this act also has the forced effect at all times. If you discard Jazz Mulligan for any reason, resolve his revelation effect. Objective: when you take control of Jazz, advance. I'm going to go first with Marie. All 3 of these locations are effectively identical without insider knowledge, which I do not have, so I'm going to move twice to the Student Union. 1 shroud, 2 clues, forced after it is revealed, put the set aside dormitories into play. And the dormitories are locked, I cannot go there. I now have the ability to spend 2 actions to heal a damage and a horror. Not that I particularly care about this. And I'm going to spend 3 resources to play a Shriveling, so that I can defend myself properly now. I'm going to move twice on Jacqueline as well to a different location. I'm going to go to the administration building. 4 shroud, 2 clues, forced efforts put into play, put the set aside faculty offices into play. And just like the dormitories, the faculty offices are locked. Also, forced, at the end of your turn, if you are in the administration building, discard the top card of your deck. So Jacqueline's moved twice, she has 1 action left. I'm going to investigate using Prescient. I believe there are a lot of 1s, but there are also a lot of 0s and -2s, and I pass at -2. I'm going to call Symbol, because I pass at symbols, I think. Just barely. I have 9 cards in my discard pile. That means I can take Skulls or Cultist or my Star Sign and pass without any ill effect from Clairvoyance. So I'm going to call Symbol on Prescient. So I'll be testing at 7 to 4, and if I pass with a Symbol, I get a spell card from my discard pile. Oh, and I'm using her ability, obviously. Not that I needed to, apparently. Cool, I'll cancel my Elder Sign to draw a card, and I'll use Prescient's ability to get this Shriveling back as well. Upkeep phase, because there are no enemies in play. That's not true, the Whippoorwill moves to the quad. And now the upkeep phase. We have to discard down to 5 instead of what we were previously doing. I'll let Jacqueline hold on to 1 delve, I think. That seems reasonable. Yeah, I think that's a good discard for Marie. And for Jacqueline, I'm going to toss Arcane Initiate. No, I don't want to toss any of this. The Holy Rosary can go. I don't need the Horror Soak, probably. And then the last discard is actually just unpleasant. It can't be Shriveling or Uncage. Can't be Delve. So it's either Ward of Protection or Guts. I'm going to keep Ward of Protection over the Guts. Oh no, I haven't actually done Jacqueline's upkeep yet, so we have to discard another card. And it's going to be Deny Existence. Top of the round, 1 and 3 Doom, and now for evil cards. Hey, it's a 2-health enemy. I was wondering if there were any of these. Spawn location with the most clues. It's a tie between these 2 locations. I'm going to give it to Marie, because Marie can kill it for 1 action with Bloodright. Infinite Doorway, attached to your location. So Infinite Doorway is just on this location forever. Anytime you enter or leave here, you discard the top card of your deck. If it's a weakness, draw it. Otherwise, take 1 horror for each copy of it, either in play or in your hand. Not a fan. I'm going to go first as Marie. I'm going to just kill this man with a Bloodright. Draw 2, spend 2, discard 2. I don't need David. It's never going in over Milan. And Deep Knowledge to replenish my hand would be nice if my hand size wasn't lowered right now, so I think I just tossed the Deep Knowledge. And then I'm investigating at 6-1 twice. I get a clue, and I get the other clue. I get a resource from Milan. For Jacqueline's turn, I'm going to investigate with Clairvoyance. Wait, didn't I do this already? I investigated with Clairvoyance. That's how I got Shriveling back. I forgot to get my clues. I think I'm going to use the ability on the act to discard my clues, or spend my clues rather, and discard the top 5 twice. Nope, nope. One of these someday is going to be Jazz Mulligan. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last action, I'm going to play Uncage the Soul. I don't think I need the Clairvoyance anymore, but that seems optimistic. I'm just going to replace my Shriveling, even though it has 1 charge left. I don't like it, but I'm doing it. And that's it for our rounds. Hunter phase, this enemy is going to move. I'm going to move it to Marie's location. Main reason being that she has Tesla's damage with Bloodright. And then I'm going to upkeep phase. Jeremiah Kirby really doesn't matter. Dark Future. I can no longer cancel tokens. At the end of the round, I have to reveal 5 tokens. If a symbol is revealed, or an Elder Sign symbol rather, discard Dark Future. So Jacqueline's ability just doesn't exist for a while. Right, I'm going to go first with Marie. I'm going to discard 5 cards, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. 2 of 3 Doom and Encounter cards. For each card in your hand, if there's a copy of that card in your discard pile, take 1 horror to a maximum of 3. If you take no horror, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. I've got a Bloodright, a Delve Too Deep, and a Promise of Power. I think that's the maximum of 3. Christ. That is so much horror. Well, sometimes you get got. Take 3 horror. I could kill Milan and replay Jeremiah Kirby instead. It might be right at this point. Still debating if I want to take this horror. I have Fearless to heal up 1 with a Shriveling, but that's not the best. I'm going to take the horror myself and not kill Milan, and now we have more birds. As Marie, I'm going to spend my first action discarding the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Surgeon Evils, other Thrall. The important part is they aren't Jazz Mulligan. A part of me wants to engage and shrivel the birds to use my Fearless and heal a horror, and also get rid of the birds. But that feels like it's really inefficient, and instead I'm just going to discard the top 5 again. Hey, it's finally Jazz! 8th to bottom card. Jazz Mulligan is in play at my location. While he's not controlled, he gains Parlay Test Book 3. If successful, take control of Jazz. While you control Jazz, you ignore the text on each unrevealed misconnect location. Oh! Little did I know the book check was scenario 1. There might be more than 1, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to spend my last action testing Book 3. I'm at 6. Actually, I want to commit Promise Power to this. I've already pulled my token, but I won't commit Promise Power to this. This is really important, and Promise of Power makes me more likely to die to the Mythos deck. So let's go ahead and take Jazz Mulligan then. See an ally slot? No, he's textless. Great. Oh, and I have 2/2 Soak now. Fantastic. Now I'm no longer at risk of dying. And I also have the ability to enter the dormitories. For Jacqueline's turn, I'm going to move twice to where Marie is. And I think I just draw a card. Because, like, we need to unlock the dormitories. I don't want to go to the science building. I suspect bad things are over there. Yeah, I'm just going to draw a card. that's the end of our round, but first we need to draw 5 tokens to see if we can get rid of whatever my weakness is called. We cannot. Upkeep phase. Well, not quite. Hunter phase. Whippoorwill moves to the quad. And over here for Marie, we're going to get an Azure Flame, which is nice to see. 3 of 3 Doom. Agenda progresses. A cry of fear echoes through the campus, and several students flee from the eastern side of the university, where the science building can be found. Could this commotion be linked to Professor Rice's disappearance? When the dormitory's location is not in play, put it into play. If the experiment is in play, move it 1 location towards the dormitories, and if it is not in play, spawn the science building. Spawn it in the science building. That makes so much more sense than what I just read. The experiment is a 4/7/2 monster. It's massive. It gets +3 player health, so it's actually a 4/13/2 monster that's massive. When the enemy phase begins, ready the experiment, so you can't actually dodge him. If the experiment's defeated, advance to Act 3B, Victory 2. 13's a fucking lot of health. And it hits for 2/2. This thing is not a joke. This is a pretty serious enemy for Scenario 1. Agenda 3A, the Beast Unleashed. Whatever it is, it appears to be headed toward the university dormitories. When this agenda would advance by reaching its Doom threshold, instead remove all Doom in play and move the experiment 1 location toward the dormitories. Forced, when this agenda would advance by reaching its Doom threshold, instead remove all Doom in play and move the experiment 1 location towards the dormitories. Objective, if the experiment enters the dormitories, advance. Unfortunately, this is the agenda's objective, not ours. If it gets to the dormitories, we lose. Of course, now we draw our encounter cards. Beyond the Veil, not a big worry for me. Ooh, there's 6 cards left in my deck. Maybe big worry for me. I'm reasonably confident that one of those is Deny Existence, though. Yeah, I've only discarded 1 Deny Existence, so I should still be fine over there. I test 5 Brain. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. Can't use my ability, so I'm just testing at 6. We're in the same location. I think I commit Fearless to this. I do. I commit Fearless to this and test at 7 to 5. 0, I get to heal Horror, and no ill effects from that. I'm going to have Marie go first. She kind of has to, and she's going to move down here to the dormitories because Jazz Mulligan lets her ignore the lock text. It's a victory location, 1 shroud, 6 clues. If we spend the clues as a group, we can advance to R2. Speaking of, we advance to Act 3 if we kill the experiment, which probably has an R2 on it. Oh, we were supposed to resolve this act when we took control of Jazz. Let me see what's going on. You convince Jazz that something strange is going on and that Professor Rice may be in danger. He doesn't trust you enough to hand you his keys, but he agrees to come with you. All of a sudden, you hear a crash coming from the science building and a student rushes towards you. Help, he cries. There's some kind of animal loose in the chem labs. Only barely caught a glimpse of it, but... He shudders. I think it's heading to the dorms. You've got to do something. If the alchemy lab location is not in play, put it into play. If you are at Agenda 1 or 2, spawn the set-aside experiment in the alchemy labs. Okay, cool. So regardless of where the experiment should have been, it would have ended up in the same place that it currently is. And because we haven't completed the House Always Wins yet, we do nothing. Now, moving on with my turn, I'm just investigating twice. At 6 to 1. Curse token into autofail, the classics. -3, however, will get me a resource and a clue. Jacqueline's going to move down and investigate twice using clairvoyance. -4 is a pass. And skull is a pass. So I use these 2 charges of clairvoyance and I get 4 clues. Enemy phase, the whippoorwills both move down towards us. Upkeep phase. Is our hand size still restricted? No, we have full hand size again. Enemy phase, or Mythos phase rather, 1 of 2, and evil cards. There's an infinite doorway in the dormitories. And Beyond the Veil is now also on Jacqueline, but she has Deny Existence in hand already, so she'll be fine. Assuming the scenario even goes long enough to play it. So this is where things get a little bit weird. You can obviously see that I'm capable of getting this clue and then getting R2. Very, very easily. But he do be worth victory, though. And there's also victory at the faculty offices. That might be a little bit unreasonable to expect us to get. It's just really hard to get all the victory on this map, especially with only mystics because of our low mobility, because you need Jazz Mulligan in your possession to open both of these doors, and that's really just not happening. With either a stronger or more mobile team, I might have been able to get faculty offices, but that seems like a lost cause to me. Killing the experiment, however, He has 13 health. That is a lot. But we have 8 charges of Shriveling, which is just enough to kill him on its own. We can both take the 2-2 hit. We probably just kill this guy. So first action, I'm going to try to get this clue at 6-1. Get a resource from Milan, and the last clue. So we have that victory location. Then I'm going to move up twice and meet him in the quad when he comes here during the Mythos phase. For Jacqueline, I'm going to move up once. And then I think I'm going to engage and shrivel this Whippoorwill. And the reason I'm doing that is entirely because it's going to show up and give us minus book, or minus brain rather. And this thing has 4 fight. We really can't afford that. So I'm going to engage and shrivel this. I would like to punch it, but with my ability offline, I have to use a shriveling. -1, it is very dead. Hunter phase, this Whippoorwill moves to where Jacqueline is. Upkeep phase, get an Arcane Initiate that I don't need, and a Deny Existence what I desperately need. 2 of 2 Doom. We just move the experiment over every time we hit 2, right? Yep. Cool. Evil cards, let's see what we get. Test 2 Brain, increase the difficulty by 1 for each damage on you. If you fail, take 2 Horror. Man, this scenario can really rack up Horror on you, can't it? This could kill the shit out of a Roland Banks real fast. Anyway, I'm just testing 5-2, so I'm not too worried about it. Taking 2 Horror would suck, but I can just kill Jazz. -4. I'll take 1 Horror myself and put 1 Horror on Jazz. Over here for Jacqueline, we get Eldritch Accord. I think Jacqueline's at no risk of running out of cards before the scenario ends. So I just take this test and draw the card and discard nothing. And I deny existence the damage. I'll draw 1, I take the test. 0 is still a failure. And I deny existence the damage. Also, at the end of the round, I forgot to do Dark Future. We get a star, Dark Future is out of here. That's not where Dark Future goes, though. It goes in my discard pile. Alright, I'm gonna let Marie go first. Let's see how much damage we can get down on this monster. You know, I never found a chance to play my Delve 2 Deeps. Going to attack with Shriveling twice. That's stupid. Let's start with Bloodright. That's going to inform future decisions. Draw 2 cards. Mystifying Song is neat, but not ultimately very relevant. Discard 2. Jeremiah and Milan are not getting played. Spend 2, and we deal 2 damage to the boss. Whose health I'll be putting here as a giant token. We need to get up to 13. Next, I'm going to Shrivel him. And that's just going to be a straight test at 5-4. That's terrible. Baseline Shriveling, really not cutting it, is it? We're past the point of carrying out Mystifying Song, so I can mid it to test at 7-4. That gets us up to 4 damage. And I really just have to take the test at +1. There's not a lot to do. Well, it was auto-fail anyway, so the number I had didn't matter. I can be results-oriented and pretend that it was fine to test at +1. What I'm sort of wondering is whether it's correct to have Jacqueline stay where she is, kill this Whippoorwill, and play another Azure Flame, and just, like, set up to switch off and fight instead of Array. Whippoorwills are pretty soft encounter cards, and we're shuffling the deck after the next card. Because the thing is, I don't want to go over there and kill it right now. Can I take 2-2 twice on Jacqueline? Like, not a chance in hell, right? Actually, I can. I would be at 4 health and 7 sanity, which would be terrifying. 6 sanity if I use the Holy Rosary. But I could take 2 hits. So what I think I might do is just move up and fight it for 2 rounds, and then let it leave. Let the agenda move it down to the Student Union. That way I can play my delves and then chase it down and kill it. That seems reasonable. I'm going to do that. I move up and I shrivel. I'm shriveling at 6-4. I'll use my ability on the first one. Curse token, +1, or Skull. Well, it's a pretty easy Skull, or a pretty easy +1, rather. So I'm going to deal 2 damage to this thing, bring it up to 6 of 13 damage. I'm shriveling at just a straight 6-4 now. -1, that is 8 damage. Enemy phase, the Whippoorwill shows up. We get hit for 2-2 each. I'm sorry, Jazz Mulligan, that's the end of your usefulness. I guess that when Jazz dies, he goes in my discard pile. It's not actually very clear. And the 2-2 damage on Jacqueline is going to just go straight to her health and sanity. Upkeep phase. Guts is a great draw. It means that Marie might actually be able to hit him with Shriveling. Top of the round, 1 of 2 Doom and evil cards. Oh, last one in the deck was an enemy. Fantastic. I've just been thinking about Enthralled Security Guard for a while, being like, huh, how bad does this mess up my plans? And I probably try to evade it again using Jacqueline's ability, but that is, like, honestly not very consistent. Anyway, test Fly Brain. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. Yeah, that's scary as hell with autofail. It means I have one turn to end the scenario before Beyond the Veil kills me. So, like, just don't autofail. I'll commit Guts to this. I think I'll commit Arcane Initiate, rather. 7 to 5 seems fine. 5 to 5, discard 2, get rid of a curse. We lose Fearless and Prescient. Ah, shit, I lose one more because of the Whippoorwill. Hey, it was my weakness, that's fine. I may have overestimated my ability to play Delve too deep while killing a massive boss, but oh well. I'm gonna go ahead and take a small break and think about just exactly how badly I've screwed myself. The Whippoorwill is honestly the bigger problem than this enemy, I feel like. It's just so hard to hit at 5 to 4 on Jacqueline. We have to hit with 3 spells to kill it. And one of those has to be from a Shriveling on Sister Mary. Sister Mary is currently testing at 4 to 4. Okay, I think I'm fine. I think this works. I'm going to go first with Sister Mary. I'm going to attempt to Shrivel at 4 to 4. And I'm going to commit Guts from Jacqueline. I'm also going to use Jacqueline's ability to test at 6 to 4 with 3 tokens. Didn't need it apparently, but oh well. We'll take the -2, and we're going to deal 2 more damage to this thing. Man, this is a sketchy, terrible plan, but it's what we're doing, I think. I think it's very unlikely to ever kill Jacqueline. That's the important part. Because it's trying to kill Jacqueline. I played Delve too deep, and I take 3 damage. I take 2/2 damage from the boss. Just gonna kill Milan, deal 1/1 to me. And 1 damage from this guy. And we both draw our encounter cards. Oh no, our location's now got a secret door on it. It's minorly inconvenient. And Eager for Death for this character. Yeah, could kill her. I can deny existence it though, so it can't kill her. Yeah, this all works. I take the test. I fail. I expected to fail, but that's just funny. And I deny existence of damage. And I resign. I'm sorry, Jacqueline. Here you go. Jacqueline's going to go next. I'm sincerely regretting my decisions with Marie here. That shit was greedy as hell. But now that I'm here, now that I've made my bed and I have to sleep in it, I have to figure out what the best way to do this is. And unfortunately, I have just low enough health that if I take an opportunity attack from just this guy next turn playing an Azure Flame to kill him, that will be exactly enough to kill me. I think what I have to do is kill the Enthralled Security Guard with the intention of following the experiment and killing him on the next turn. The action cost of all this is rough, like it is not pleasant at all. But if I try to kill the boss and fail, which is so likely, I'd be testing twice at just +2, I would just die and fail the scenario. So I have to kill Enthralled Security Guard. So first test, I am going to be Shriveling him. That is a pass because of Holy Rosary. Second test, I'm going to be Shriveling him. He's out of here. I can't play any of the cards in my hand right now, because if I did, this man would hit me. I could engage the birds, but that feels wholly unnecessary and pointless and dangerous. I think I just passed my last action. There's nothing I can do that's actually going to have any positive impact. So yeah, I pass, and I get hit for 2/2. Enemy phase, that's all that happens. Upkeep phase. Promise of Power is great to see. Top of the round, 2 Doom, he moves down. Marie's not there anymore. And our phase, this is not your evil card anymore. Ah, great. Perfect. Wait, spawn location with the most clues. I can put him anywhere. He doesn't have to spawn with me. Go literally anywhere else. Be gone. Oh, dodged a bullet there. Alright, for my turn, I'm going to replace my Shriveling with an Azure Flame for most of my resources. I say most of my resources, I have 10 apparently. I haven't had to spend much money this scenario. Next turn, I'm going to walk down and kill that man. But this turn, I can't do that. I can't draw cards because I would die. Huh. So it's still coming down to bad skill checks, but they're not as bad as they were last round. You know, I really shouldn't have made it this risky. I didn't realize just how bad it was because I was trying to play my delves. Speaking of, let's play a delve. Does this cost resources? Yeah, it does. I spend a resource. I get this thing. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to ward a protection that and take a horror instead. And if I draw another card I need to ward, that's fine. I'll just have to break my rosary, which is unpleasant, but where I live. I'll gain a resource in my turn. Enemy phase, nobody moves. Upkeep phase. Enraptured is irrelevant. 1 of 2 doom. Final evil card. Also, let's put Delve Too Deep where it belongs. The victory display. My evil card was one I haven't seen yet. A baleful welcome. Choose 2 of the following action types. Investigate, fight, evade, move, or play. You cannot perform that chosen action. Well, I need to move and fight. I won't be evading or investigating, so I pick those 2. You can no longer evade or investigate. I move, and moment of truth, because I'm fucking terrible at the game and decided to do this to myself, because I really want 2 victory points and I'm not concerned about the resolution. We're going to take some tests. So with these 2 Azure Flame checks that I'm making, the first one I'm going to use Ward of Protection to commit, and I'm going to use my ability. So I'm testing at 6, 7 to 4 with 3 tokens. -4 would have failed. Glad I used my ability. -1 is the easy choice. He takes 2 damage. And I do it again with Promise of Power. We're testing at 10 to 4. Just don't auto fail. Get him out of here. That's 13 damage. Victory display. So yeah, I played this badly. Unambiguously, stupidly greedy, played it terribly. Maximum rewards, though. Oh, that's not even true, is it? Because the faculty offices had victory points. I'm glad I played this first so I could get victory from the faculty offices. I suppose it's not much of a decision point that matters then for faculty offices having victory points. Because unless you're specifically going for Resolution 1 that it offers, you can just go get your victory points in the dormitories instead, and you have a really hard time doing both. Anyway, the resolution I get is just Advanced Act 3B. The monstrous creature lets out a terrible shriek as it succumbs to its wounds and collapses onto the ground. A foul odor emanates from the corpse as its flesh begins to bubble and froth. The relief turns to disgust as the body begins to shrink and disintegrate. Minutes later, the body is almost entirely evaporated into a sticky mass and the awful odor has vanished. Inside the rims of the creature's body, all you can find is a set of bones, the skeletal structure of a canine. R3. As I said at the start of the video, I will not be reading any sort of italicized flavor text in the campaign log. I just feel it adds too much time to the videos. But I will be reading everything involving the mechanics of the resolution. So record that Professor Warren was kidnapped. So now we're going to move on to the next scenario. We can get Victory X. There were 2 victory point locations on the map. Thanks to Delve Too Deep, we're going to go up from our previous 7 experience to a total of 9 this scenario. And now we're going to move on to the House Always Wins. Our victory display is worth 9 experience because the experiment tier is worth 2. And I'll talk about deck upgrades at the beginning of the next one. I've been Rather Incoherent. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, then like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.